Looks to come inside and find one, a goal, and find the back of the net for Perth.
And the Azzurri have come back from 2 goals down to tie it up.
Cue the celebrations for the Azzurri.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Perth SC Podcast. Great to have you with us as we take a deep dive once again into all of the news coming out of the mighty Perth Soccer Club. Another big week for the club. Some big results again, but we'll go through them a little bit more in detail. But I can let you know that both our senior men's and senior women's sides remain unbeaten in their relevant competitions for 2025. Outstanding start to the season from those two sides. Mixed results across the weekend for our 18s and 23 men's, and a big win for our 21s women. We'll go through those matches a little bit more in detail in just a few minutes. A bit of news coming out of the podcast this week. We'd like to send a huge welcome and a big thank you to Lidio Fiore and the team at the Panorama Club. They've come on board as our major sponsor of the Perth SC Podcast, so that is very much appreciated. Just a little bit on the Panorama Club. It is Perth's premier private members club and luxury workspace where creativity, connection and culture thrive. As a member, you can entertain clients and connect with Perth's brightest minds in their vibrant terrace bar. It is home to Perth's city's most talked about exclusive social events. If you'd like to learn more, you can discover the Panorama Club at Oxford Street in Leederville or visit panoramaclub.com.au. A massive thanks to Lidio and the team for their ongoing support of not only the Perth Soccer Club, but of course us here at the Perth SC Podcast. Very much appreciated. Right, let's take a bit of a look back at the weekend. Let's start with Saturday afternoon. It was our NPL men's senior side. They played out a super entertaining draw. Battled for, of course, the Dylan Tambides Trophy away to Stirling, Macedonia. There was 2 changes for Kenny Lowe as Kobe Sutton returned from suspension, replacing Julian Kelly at left back, and Aidan Formston came into centre half to replace the suspended Curtis Mogg. There was the unchanged midfield, of course, of Scarfetta, Osman, Riak and McNellis, with Ethan Banks and Gordon Perkins once again leading the attack. But it was the home team who scored first. They opened the scoring with Josh Bilalowski putting Stirling up early after a hurried pass out from the back from Mark Birighetti was seized upon by midfielder for Stirling, Cade Furnell, who fed the ball back into Bilalowski, who then turned on Luca Herninger before finding the bottom corner of the net. Gordon Perkins, he did his best and continued his great form when he was assisted beautifully by Ethan Banks. Perkins managing to beat the offside trap and sliding the ball in under Stirling keeper James Bosdet to level up at 1-1. However, it didn't last long for the Azzurri at this stage of the match. Bilalowski proved once again to be the thorn in the side of the Azzurri when less than a minute later he put the home team back in front after beating Aidan Formston to Samuel Dway's through ball and made it 2-1 there. And then, well, it was a little bit uphill for the Azzurri as far as the first half went when Stirling's Danny Douglas then made it 3-1 when he retrieved his own scraps after the ball cannon backed off the crossbar from the initial shot. It was a pretty spectacular half volley as he got it past Birighetti to give the home team a commanding half-time lead at 3-1. However, following the break and a bit of a regrouping by the Azzurri, Luca Herninger, he reinforced his reputation as a bit of a goal-scoring defender when he spectacularly volleyed the ball from the top of the box off the crossbar and into the net to give the Azzurri the momentum early in that second half and make the scoreline at 3-2. The Ethan Banks and Gordon partnership, well, that continued to pay dividends as Perkins again got on the end of a pass from Banks at about the 70-minute mark to level up at 3-3 and see the Azzurri unbeaten so far in 2025. So an outstanding comeback there that'll certainly build plenty of confidence in this Azzurri side heading into what looks to be another tricky fixture this week against Sorrento. We'll have a bit more of a look at that towards the end of the program. So what does that mean as far as other results? Well, Bayswater got over the top of Perth Red Star. Olympic beat a 10-man Florida Athena. Balcatta got over Fremantle. Perth Glory, they drew 2-2 with Sorrento, and Armidale, they had a 4-2 win over Western Knights in their replayed match throughout the week. That was postponed initially due to the hot conditions across the weekend. So there's a little bit on what that looks like as far as scorelines. The table, Olympic and Bayswater, they lead the way on 9 points from their 3 fixtures. Perth SC and Perth Glory on 7 points, followed by Armidale on 5, Western Knights on 4, Balcatta on 3, Red Star on 2, and Sorrento, Florida and Stirling. And then finally, Fremantle City, who is yet to get off the mark in 2025. So a great start, and the mighty Azzurri boys find themselves in a pretty good position, even though it is early days throughout the season, just those 3 games played. For our NPL women's side, they played away to Murdoch Uni on Sunday afternoon. Still warm, not as warm as Saturday, but still warm, especially as they had to endure a little bit more heat. It's that AstroTurf pitch out there at Murdoch Uni that just seems to keep a fair bit of heat. Not only do you get the heat coming down on you, but it comes back off the turf pretty hot as well. And They pulled off a 3-0 win to remain unbeaten in their first 2 rounds. Alana Ottobrino, well, she rewarded Tom Glavich's faith with her first start of the season when she fed Ruby Marshall for the opener on around 13 minutes after a nice little touch, in fact, from Marshall to beat the last defender and allowing her to slot the ball past the Murdoch Uni keeper to make it 1-0 for the Azzurri girls. And, that's the way that it stayed until half-time, but they were then aided by a red card to Murdoch's Isabella Bolden after she was sent off just after half-time. And the game started to open up a little bit for the Azzurri as Sam Mathers found second-half sub in Tamsin Hannon to double the advantage for the girls. And, then Mathers went from provider to finisher with a superb Olympico effort straight from the corner to seal the deal for Perth and record a 3-0 win and keep their perfect record in shape ahead of round 3. An outstanding result in some difficult conditions out there at the Murdoch Uni grounds. So, what does that mean as far as other results go? Well, Fremantle City and Balcatta, they paid out a 2-2 draw. NTC accounted for Red Star having a really good season, the NTC, or the Football West Academy, as they're now known. And Subiaco had a big win over UWA. So the table, what does that look like? Well, NTC and Perth SC, they can't be split. They can't be split on points, and they can't be split on goals scored, goal difference, or anything like that. So they sit head and head at the top of the NPLWA women's table. They're followed by Subiaco, Red Star, Fremantle, Balcatta, and Murdoch Uni, with UWA yet to get off the mark in 2025. So a really good effort there from our Perth SC women's sides. Other results for the Azzurri across the weekend. 18s men, they had a heavy loss at the hands of Stirling. In fact, it was a 4-0 loss to Stirling. The 23s, that was a 2-2 draw against Stirling as well. Also earlier in the day on Saturday afternoon in some pretty hot conditions as well. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Brian McCready and his 21s women who find themselves unbeaten and joint top of the 21s women's ladder after a 3-1 win over Murdoch. Big congratulations to Alyssa Klomp, who scored a hat-trick at the weekend. So an outstanding effort there by Brian and his team. But a bit of a shout out there to Alyssa who scored all 3 goals there for the 21s women. So outstanding efforts, and great to see that side go from strength to strength after a lot of them came up from the 18s, of course, in the previous years. So very well done there. Right, that is a bit of a wrap of what's been happening. Let's take a bit of a break. We'll come back out on the other side of this with our first guest. We're going to be speaking to NPLW defender in Violet Longmore. She'll join us next on the Perth SC Podcast. Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Great to have plenty of great guests. We'll be speaking to Kenny Lowe a little bit later on. But let's start with, someone who's relatively new to Perth Soccer Club. Violet Longmore's with us. She plays as a defender for the senior women's team. Violet, thanks for jumping on.
Yes, thank you.
Now, you're a little bit apprehensive about jumping on here, but we got you. So, thanks for taking a little bit of time. How you all settled into coming over to the Azzurri?
Yeah, no, it's going really well. I think the girls are really welcoming, and coming over with coaches like Tommy and Fernando, who I've previously had as coaches, was really helpful. And also moving with some of my teammates from last year. But
there was a fair contingent of you that's come over with Tom and Fernando. What have you enjoyed so far about being over this way, rather than obviously just for our listeners coming through what is now known as the Football West Academy, but I guess the NTC?
Well, it's very different. It's more club here. Like, obviously it was a development program over there, very Football West based, so didn't get much community that way. But over here, lots of community. Everyone's coming down, supporting our games, things like that.
Good stuff. And I guess also the transition from doing your thing for development purposes, but now obviously you've got a club to represent, you've got the fans to represent, and it's about getting the results on the pitch at the end of the day.
Yeah, very different. Obviously, if they're trying to just develop your skills, develop as a team, playing out from the back. Yeah. But here we want to win everything. Yeah. A lot more freedom.
Have you been enjoying your football? I was just asking you a little bit off air, slotting into that left back position.
Yes, I love it there.
Love it?
Yeah. Feel like I can cut in on my right, use my left, pretty both-footed. So
I mean, we're just saying as well, I guess traditionally you had to be an out-and-out left-footed to play left back, but you're very versatile.
Yeah, both-footed, predominantly right, and playing with like Jess on the left as well. I think we've got a good link-up coming, so it's going really well. Yeah,
good stuff. And obviously coming in, and there was already, I guess, a core of a side here at Perth. Yeah. So how do you feel that cohesion's come together?
No, I think we've slotted right in, most of us, like in the starting lineups, on the bench. The girls have been super welcoming, and I think we're gelling as a team when we play football, and also just off the field as well.
Absolutely. It's been a ripper start, at least to the league. Yes. So far, you remain you've a perfect record essentially after a big result against Fremantle, and then on the weekend against Murdoch in some pretty hot conditions. How did you see that one in particular?
Against Murdoch?
Against Murdoch.
Yeah, it was very, very hot, especially on the turf. It's like your feet, boots melting away at you. I didn't play much of that game, but the girls did really well to go out there and put that performance on. And great goals as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just had a bit of a word to Sam Mathers about her Olympico there.
I know, I watched it go over my head and I was just like, it's going in. Left it.
Beautiful stuff. What else have we got? I guess what are your aspirations now that you're at Perth? You've graduated through that NTC. Is it just really about yourself taking that next step and seeing what comes?
Yeah. Well, I guess a lot more freedom here at Perth. I can work on myself. I'm taking 1v1s in left back, more defensive, working on myself as a player, and then hopefully getting into Glory, seeing where that goes. But had some training with them in the past, so hopefully I can continue that. Yeah,
good stuff. And I mean, stepping up to that next level for Glory, you've had some training as well. How much of an insight did that give you on really what's it going to take to get there where you want to go?
Yeah, a lot. You have to put a lot of extra work in. Your touch has to be perfect passing, the desire to want to be there as well, taking up the time, sacrifices of school and work and everything as well. So, yeah. A
little bit difficult at times, especially when you've got to balance it all.
Yeah.
You've just come out of a pretty long should I say, video session with Tom and Fernando. I mean,
Yes.
how insightful is it when you can look back and have Tom and Fernando kind of say, look, give you certain instruction and certain feedback.
Yeah, no, it's good, especially with the video that just pauses after every little clip. They can highlight places that we need to work on, and then also them just giving us like how to actually fix the issue for the next time it comes up as well. It's going really well.
And I
like
guess
that.
also the tactical and the tactical philosophy that Tom and Fernando want you to play. I mean, how do you feel that's coming together for you and the side at the moment? I mean, the result says it's coming along well, but I mean, obviously it's always room for improvement.
Yeah, definitely. It still needs work on in some points, but in the last game we had some good plays. We had like 20 plus passes in one stint, and it's just, I think, coming really well. Just still needs lots more work though, yeah.
I guess just a little bit holistically, you've been in the women's football, I guess, realm or program for a while now. How do you feel women's football is progressing? Of course, there was that big bubble with the World Cup and everything else like that. But, I mean, how do you feel as someone who's right in the middle of it?
No, I think it's going really well. I mean, even getting more crowds down at games, that's definitely, and you're seeing like younger players wanting to get into it more. You walk around like Football West are doing all these young academy things for younger girls, and it's just bringing so many more girls wanting to play football and be in the team environment. I think the World Cup definitely inspired most of that for sure, yeah.
And some of your footballing inspirations take us back to how you first got involved, and I guess some of the people that you look up to.
My brother, definitely,
Yeah.
So down in Margaret River where I grew up, so he was playing, my dad was coaching, mum would take me down, just always around there, and then I just wanted to play. Started playing at like 5, I think. But yeah, came in Margaret River and stayed with them till under 13, so yeah.
Did you come up to the Big Smoke by yourself, or did you come up with did the family move up, or how did that all work?
When I first got into NTC in under 14s, which was 2022, I think, we drove to Perth 3 times a week for
just
training
for football
and games.
and then back again.
And then back. But I have family in Rockingham, so we'd stay there some nights and then go back in the morning. So I missed a lot of school. But yeah, definitely my parents were biggest help with that, driving me up and back. Moved up in 2022, and then just with my mum, my brother bought a house up here.
Yeah, right.
My dad still lives down there. He drives up now for weekends on games as well.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
it's been a full kind of sacrifice from the family as well to
very much
get
so.
you to go where you want to go.
Yeah. Mum enjoys it up here around her family. But yeah, we do miss home a bit and miss being together as a family as well.
And I'm not sure, but you might have had maybe a little bit of something to do with a bit of a superstar around WA football in Tash Rigby, who's also from down your way.
Yes, she's from Margaret River. Very good friends with her and the family as well. So yeah, it's always good to have her as an inspiration, and also there to always have a chat and help you out when you need as well. Yeah.
How beneficial do you feel it is for those players that come from regional areas? I remember having a chat to Baxter Thu, who's from Dunsborough as well.
Yeah, she coached me as well when
there
I
you
was
go.
down there. Yeah, it's very good knowing that someone can actually move up there and actually go further with their football instead of just being sort of stuck in a bubble of, oh, you're not good enough, you're from the country, but yeah, and they do offer lots of new programs for us down there as well.
Just the fact that you can get seen and identified as well. I mean, I remember talking to Tanika Lala, who came from out Kalgoorlie way as well. So it's come a long way.
Yeah,
it must
definitely.
be said that there is this identification and pathways, I guess, and you know that you can kind of come through the NTC, you can play NPL, and then hopefully step up into that next realm of the A-League, or, I mean, beyond, hopefully.
Yeah.
Is that the goal?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, got a lot of work to get there, but definitely the goal in the end.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. This weekend, UWA, another away match, another bit of a tricky kind of a match, because I think UWA might be a little bit more competitive than what we have seen maybe in previous years. What are you expecting from UWA?
Well, and even in the previous games for them, they've gone 1-0 up to both against Red Star, like such a strong side like that. I think they've got some good new players in there this year as well, so they'll be very strong. their wingers are very strong and attacking as well, so we need to watch out for that. But I think we just need to come out firing and from the get-go, get down on them.
And obviously, a little bit of fire burning in the belly after that loss in the night series final.
Yes, definitely. We want to win everything this year. I mean, sucks not to win the night series, but that's always just a pre-season. Good to get into it and
absolutely.
come out again.
Well, that will come to news to the ears of the Azzurri fans, and hoping you can do exactly that. Violet, thank you very much for giving us a few minutes.
No worries. Thank you.
Well, one man that doesn't need any introduction in WA football, joining us on the Perth Soccer Club podcast, Mr. Kenny Lowe. Thanks for jumping on board, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for asking me.
No worries at all. Mate, unbeaten start to 2025. You must be pretty happy with where things are at.
Yeah, I think I've been in now not a year yet. Obviously come in middle of last season, halfway through. Yeah, so a few changes in this window, which have been good. And but a great group of boys, good club. To be honest, I'm really enjoying myself.
Excellent. And the result on the weekend, hard fought. You had to get back into it, tough conditions. But I guess that's another little. Yeah,
I think a 3-1 down in a 3-3 draw ends up being a win. You know what I mean? The lads are buzzing afterwards. There's a lot of belief. You know what? We probably could have gone on and pinched it. It might have been hard done by for Stirling if we'd done that. You know, they were really good on the day and competitive. But we played really well. We had enough opportunities to win it. But like I say, probably, maybe a draw was a fair result.
From where you were last year, of course, coming in mid-season, it's been much talked about steering away from that relegation. But with a full pre-season now, do you feel in a much more comfortable position, your relationship and everything else, where you want the boys to be?
You never feel comfortable. I think all the time you're only 3 games away from a crisis. So, but like we were looking the other day at the squad. We've added a number of players who I've worked with previously, which is always good. And then a couple of new boys who I didn't know but who were highly recommended. So I think from last year's team, I believe, who played in the team for the first team, there's been 19 players left the club. So that's a lot of players who've played in the first team.
But I guess even from a planning and preparation point of view, just having that time rather than straight from the kitchen into the fire last season.
Yeah, I don't mind either way, mate. It's like it's football. I remember going into Glory as an interim at the time, and very similar. You only go to clubs when there's a bit of a crisis anyway. You don't go when it's all, unless you're Arnie Sloss and you happen to strike goals. But normally you don't go into situations like that. You always go in when there's a little bit of upheaval. Nice upheaval last time because Danny left for a real great opportunity. And again, it was a nice opportunity for me to come here.
And I guess, Kenny, you've been around the traps for a while. You played in England. Just going back a little bit further, where did the love of football originate, mate? Was it something that you were born into? Was it something that you picked up? Of course, a sporty family, it must be said.
Yeah, northeast of England, everyone plays, everyone's passionate, just played. I got into the game late. I got in early and then came out of the game. I think I'd played 60 league games by the time I was about 20. And then come out and I went back in again when I was maybe 29 and finished up, I think, when I was 36 at Birmingham.
You started at Hartlepool. How did that move come about?
I was a kid, actually. I got an offer to go to Blackburn Rovers as an apprentice at the time. But the old fella, in his wisdom, in those days you had to sign the indentures for you to leave home. So I won't tell you what year it was, but I think it was black and white telly. My old fella wouldn't sign him. He said, "You're not good enough," and he got me a job. And I served my time in an engineering company as a boilermaker welder. And I ended up at Hartlepool. There was an advert in a newspaper. And I jumped on the bus, took my boots, went to Hartlepool for a trial, and tell my mum and dad, and got picked.
How did the news go down when you got home?
The thing was, I couldn't be a pro. I was a part-time pro because I was doing my apprenticeship. So I finished my apprenticeship at the ICI and then I signed pro at Hartlepool.
You played for some big clubs, it must be said, Stoke City, Birmingham City. We just mentioned them, but there's a standout on your CV, little club on the other side of the world called Spearwood Dalmatinac. Now, to go from Hartlepool and playing with some of these big clubs to Spearwood, how did that come?
Oh, crazy. I got released from Hartlepool, and I remember it was winter time, and I got picked to play in a representative game, like a county game, County Durham against Northumberland, the northeast of England. And we played the game, and there was a guy there who came on from Australia, like called Matty Pearson. Yeah. Matty Pearson was the gaffer at Spearwood Dalmatinac, and he was visiting his grandma, mum's mum. And the pitch was outside her house. Middle of winter, there was snow on the ground. And I thought, there's a game, I'll go out and watch that game. I was playing against another lad called Paul Gibbon. Basically, I'm trying to nutmeg Paul Gibbon. He's trying to boot me all around the pitch because we knew each other. And anyway, we were having a beer in the bar afterwards, and this guy come up, Matty. We got to know. He come and said, "Do you two lads want to come to Australia?"
That's a similar story to how you know Normo as well, isn't it? Graham
I know Normo very well. Yeah, me and Normo played at Hartlepool together. But then I said, "No, look, mate, I'm going to Bristol City. I'm going to Belgium." I went to a club in Belgium called Charleroi, and I went to Bristol City with the old England left back who played at Terry Cooper. I got offered a 2-year deal at Charleroi and a 2-year deal at Bristol, and I actually turned them both down to come to Spearwood.
Wow, unheard of these days. We mentioned Birmingham City. Of course, the owner or the chairman at the time was a bloke by the name of Barry Fry. Is he as mad as what we've been told across the years?
Yeah. I played with Baz for I think 3-4 years at Barnet, and then I was going to move. He went to Southend. He signed Stan Collymore actually. I was going to go to Southend, but in the end, I went to Stoke City with Lou Macari, and then I left. I think Lou went to Celtic, and then Joe Jordan and Asa Hartford come in, and Baz jumped from Southend to Birmingham, and then he come and bought me. So I ended up going back with Baz in Birmingham. But I played for Baz for I think 7 seasons in total.
Where did you enjoy your football the most in your playing days?
With Baz, there's 3 guys really. When I was a kid, a place Billingham Town, a guy called Ray Halliday, he's passed now. Then I was at Gateshead and Barrow with a guy called Ray Wilkie. Unbelievable. We played at Wembley. We played in a trophy final. We won titles. We played in the conference with Ray Wilkie. He was superb. And then obviously Barry Fry. So I would say those are the 3. But I enjoyed my time in Australia.
You moved into coaching. Was it coaching or nothing, or was it career v coaching, or how did the move into coaching come?
I'm 39-year-old. I'm playing. It's my last contract. We're relegated as a team. The coach gets sacked, and I'm 39. I'm the oldest player at the club, and the club basically just said, "Look, we're not going to employ a coach. You're the oldest. Do you want to take the last 10 games?"
Was that a playing coaching role as well?
Yeah, I was player coach. Yeah, and then at the end of it, we did really well. We're relegated already, but I think we had 8 or 10 games, and we did really well. It was like, I think we were in the top 4 in form in the last 10 games. And they just come to me and said, "Do you want to take the job?" And I thought, well, I'm not going to play anymore, really. So I took the job, and I was player coach for 2 years. So really, when I took the job, I was 40. I'd never coached before then. I had no coaching badges, nothing. And then left them, went to another club and spent 5 years at that club as a coach, and then came to us after that.
Just as far as your style and your development as a coach, how would you describe your style of coaching?
I just want players. I think the biggest thing for me is where I've been to a fair amount of clubs, I always maybe promise myself that don't do the things that I hate. Like that I hated as a player. I just want the players to enjoy themselves, enjoy the ball, play football, non-negotiable, and have a shitload of fun.
Yeah, fair enough. Sounds pretty good to me. Kenny, you're known for being pretty animated on the sidelines. How do you manage to, I guess, keep that contained somewhat, and I guess still show your passion at the same time? Is it just about Kenny being Kenny?
It's funny because away from there, I'm nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's like I'm fairly, I wouldn't say I'm quiet, but I'm not nowhere. Like my kids, like, oh God, what's going on? Who's that guy? You know, I don't know. You just kind of get wrapped up in the game, and you know, I think if you've got players in the field that they see you, they see you're invested, you care, maybe you get something out of the players. I'm not saying it's the right way or the wrong way. It's just the way I am. You know, it maybe rubs people up the wrong way. I'm not sure. Really, I'm not bothered. I don't give a toss about that. But definitely, enjoy the game and want to play a certain way. So I guess that comes across.
Player development's a big thing at the moment. I mean, is that the most rewarding thing for you, is seeing those players get as close to their goals as possible?
It's funny, you know, I've got a list. Wasn't going to get involved in coaching here, but I think my big thing was I started off in youth development. Yes. But I started here with Normo, actually, and then got into youth development through Paul Tombides at Football West, who offered me a job, and then spent 13 years. But I think
that was the old NTC program, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was, yeah. There's 85 players that have signed from Perth, that have signed, the list I've got, signed professional contracts out of Perth. The first lads I coached were Scotty Neville and Mark Burghetti.
Wow. How
and then Scotty's just retired on his 300th game. And they were 14, 15-year-olds. Now I'm coaching Mark again.
Burghetti, yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one, I think, was Jay Pearman, who I coached, who's gone to QPR.
Yeah.
But there's lads signed for Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Hoffenheim. Loads.
Fantastic.
85. Yeah. 85 Perth boys.
Wow.
Man United.
It's outstanding when you think about it. Obviously, a lot of those players came through Perth Glory. You mentioned that 3 stints, I think, at the club. It must be a club that I guess holds a special spot for you. Where do you see the club at the moment? And
I think it's not for me to comment. All I will say, I love the club. I spent 1 year as an interim, 5 years as an assistant, 4 years as a head, 2 years as a academy director, and then I think 2 years as head of football. So if you probably wrap it all up, it's 15 years involved in that. I love the club, mate. I know people bag Seiji, but he was great for me.
Yeah.
You know, I had 108 games as a head coach. There's only 2 teams with more points in that 4-year period, and that was Victory under Kevin Muscat and Sydney under Graham Arnold, and that's a fact. 108 games. We were the 3rd best team over 108 games.
Yeah.
Great times.
You also had a bit of a time with the Australian national team, which must have been, it was only a short stint, but it must have been
I think I spent 9 months in the lead up to the Asian Cup. Yep. Lucky enough to go to Qatar with Arnie and Rene. Brilliant. Best experience that you could ever have. I worked with Graham Arnold, like the guy's superb.
Yeah.
He's top shelf.
What makes Graham Arnold such a good coach, do you feel?
Him.
Yeah.
He's all for his players. He's humble. He just cares, but he's knowledgeable. He understands. He's all for his players. And then when you put Rene in there as well, the pair of them were an unbelievable double act. You couldn't get better.
What's just back to the Perth Soccer Club in 2025, mate? What's the goal for yourself and the team this year?
To win. I think wherever I've ever been, I always want to win. I want to play a certain way, but win. It's not a rebuild. Everyone talks about rebuilds. No. Win.
Yeah.
Why can't we win?
Yeah.
I left when I left the Glory last time to go into NPL. I think Red Star finished 3 points off relegation that year.
Yeah.
Previous year. We won it the next year.
Yeah.
So, when you get a full pre-season, you maybe get a couple of players. Look, we've got another window if we can add some players to the squad. We've got a competitive squad now. We'll be competitive, but if we can add something in the window, why can't we win it? Why can't you challenge people to say we're good enough to win it? Whether it happens or not, I don't know, but why can't you have that desire to do that?
Just for the Azzurri fans, have you got your eye on anyone without giving anything away?
Yeah, but everyone, like anyone who's ever coached, I come off the pitch and go, "Hey mate, how you going? You want to come to us next year?" It's probably not the right thing to do, but the ironic thing is, like you said earlier, I'm probably old. I've been around a bit. and I've probably coached about 90% of the decent players in the league. So that gives you an in.
Final one, Kenny. This weekend, Sorrento, tough place to go up there to Percy Doyle. You'll be coaching against, a man that you'll know pretty well, in Stevie McGarry. Expect a bit of banter on the sidelines, maybe a beer
Steve's
after.
Top shelf. He's been around. Obviously, you've got Kilkelly there as well.
Kilkenny.
Kilkenny there as well. So it'll be fun on the sidelines, but you definitely know you're old when you've coached the coaches. So you know what I mean. So
Kenny, thanks very much, mate, for giving us a few minutes. Big thank you to Violet Longmore, who we spoke to a little bit earlier on. And, of course, just there was Kenny Lowe. Fantastic that those people can give us plenty of time here at the Perth SC podcast and some cracking stories and some thoughts on where the club is at currently. Let's look ahead to the weekend now. 3 p.m. Saturday, our NPL women, they will be away to UWA. Another big opportunity, it must be said, for 3 points. Prior to that will be our 21s. So NPL women v UWA, that is 3 p.m. Saturday out there at UWA Sports Park. So, make sure you get along to that. Make a bit of a day of it. Go and catch the 21s as well. It will clash with our men's, unfortunately. So, also kicking off at 3 p.m. on Saturday will be our senior men's side. They will be up there at Sorrento, up at the old Windy Hill of Percy Doyle Reserve. Prior to that will be the 18s and 23s. It will be a little bit of a test, of course, Sorrento taking out the 2025 NPL Men's Night Series. So despite sitting a little bit lowly, we know that they can cause maybe some issues across the league this year. So the Azzurri boys will have to be 100% on their game. Right, let's get set to wrap things up. Another big thank you to the Panorama Club, Perth's premier private members club and luxury workspace. Discover the Panorama Club at Oxford Street in Leederville or visit panoramaclub.com.au. Well, that's me done for another week. Make sure you enjoy your football across the weekend and come on, the Azzurri.